In this session, we have three contributions: one of Bishop Mártيروس, one of Caroline Schroeder, and a third one, not discussion. It will be the contribution of Father Jean Paul Abdul Sayed about John Parolos. Dr. Hani Takla will read it. Hello. His Grace Bishop Mártيروس to speak about Saint برسوم the Naked and his veneration at المعصرة, Dair Shahran.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Gaudat. I want to express about good feelings to Bishop Kyrillos, who organized and make attention to this conference. I welcome to Bishop Theodosius, gentlemen and gentlewomen, fathers, monks. My pleasure to share with you in this symposium. And first of all, I want to start with biography of Saint Bartholomew the Naked. Saint Bartholomew the Naked was born in 1257 AD. His father was called الوجيه المفضل, who was very close to and trusted to the queen شجرة الدر, who appointed him as her scribe. After the death of his parents, he left El Fustat and lived an ascetic life in a cave, perhaps in Mount El Muqattam or Mount Torah, where a number of hermits lived. There he spent 5 years, as that period was one of the two highest periods of persecution for the Copts. God guided him to the church of Abu Sufyan in Old Cairo, where he lived in a cave there for 20 years. During the time of Saint Bartholomew the Naked, the church underwent a severe revolution in the later part of Sultan Khalil ibn Qalawun, when all the churches of Egypt except Alexandria were closed down, and the Christians were forced to wear blue turbans as a way of distinguishing them from the Muslims. Saint Bartholomew refused to wear a blue turban, and when some people reported this to the governor ordered his flogging and built him in jail. After his release, he went to Deir Shahran at المعصرة in Halwan. There he lived to end his life. After a long struggle, Saint Bartholomew died at the age of 60 on 28 of August 17 AD. The priest Yohanna ibn Sheikh, perhaps the abbot of the monastery at the time, was present at Saint Bartholomew's death. Historians say that Pope John VIII, known as Ibn al-Qaddis himself, headed the funerary prayers on the saint. After the funeral, Saint Bartholomew was buried with honor in the graveyard southeast of the monastery church, beside the abbot of the monastery known as Hiromen Ishaq ibn Karkura. The nicknames of the saint. The naked at Saint Barsoom had only one worn-out woolen garment and a white turban, so he was nicknamed the Naked. It was also said that he was nicknamed this because he used to wear a belt made from goats hid around his waist, where another explanation for this nickname, there was found in the church of Abu Sufyan in Old Cairo an ancient icon of the saint, at the bottom of which was written Ava Barsoom, who is naked, of vices and closet with virtues. Number 2, Ibn Tabban, the son of Ibn Tabban. Tabban was the family name of his mother. Number 3, the son of fasting. As Barsoma is a Syriac word meaning the son of fasting, his name is written in a Coptic Abba Barsoma. An ancient manuscript which mentions Saint Barsoom. A manuscript concerning Saint Barsoom was written in the 16th century and is in a patriarchal library in Cairo. Its catalog number is number 50 in history. This manuscript also includes the biography of Pope John VIII. And there are 4 manuscripts in the library of the Aryan. One library, it's completed for the story of Saint Barsoom, and the rest of 3 manuscripts didn't complete or incompleted with his story. The monastery of Saint Marcorius or Abu Markura martyr, which named Saint Barsoom the Naked now. It was said that the monastery was established during the patriarchate of Pope Simon II, Patriarch of Alexandria, in 830. The governor of Egypt at this time, Abdulaziz ibn Marwan the Umayyad, gave a permission for building 2 churches in Halwan. Bishop Gregorius of El-Qais was commissioned to perform this task. Bishop Gregorius built a vast monastery after the name Saint Marcorius, the martyr. It's known Abu Sufyan, the ruins of which can be easily identified in the area known as Karkura. It is mentioned that the governor Abdulaziz ibn Marwan stayed for a while in a place called Abu Karkura in Halwan for fear of an epidemic. Yes. The reconstruction of the monastery and the role of monk Beeman. It is difficult to know the history of the monastery, once known as the monastery of Saint Marcorius the Martyr, before its overall renovation by a monk named Beeman, who was forced to embrace Islam during the reign of Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah. The historian Abu al-Makarim says that the monastery known as Deir Shahran was restored by a monk Beeman after succeeding in making friends with the Caliph, who visited the monastery from time to time, holding talks with the monks and sharing them their meals. That Al-Hakim Ba'amrillah used to visit this monastery and stay and spend some time with monks there. Talking of historians about their Shahran. Shahran was the Coptic name of a village. As him said that it was a vast village located south of the area of Tura, in the eastern bank of the Nile. And it is said that there was a Hawaiian priest there. And so it was called the village of the priests, meaning المعصرة by Arabic. The Arab historian al-Makrizi, 1364-1442, says that this monastery is near the era of Torah. It is said that the man, Shahran, for whom the village was named, was a wise Copt. And it's also said that he was a king. When Barsoom ibn Tabban lived there, it came to be known as the monastery of Barsoom, who has a feast celebrated in the 5th week of Lent. This feast is attended by the patriarch and the Christian notables, and a lot of money is spent on this celebration. Inside this monastery was built a church for Saint Barsoom. The date of its construction is unknown, but it was certainly after his death in 1317 and before 1426, which was the year when priest Mikhail el-Mayarji was ordained. This priest composed a twin for venerating Saint Barsoom the Naked in manuscript number 30. This manuscript number 32 Coptic in the National Library of Paris. Of course, the monastery was built before Makriz wrote his book in which he described the celebration of the feast of Saint Barsoom the Naked. This means that the church was built in the end of this century, the end of 14th century, following his death. But it was said that this church was the church holding the name of Saint Marcorius Abusifain, and it was renovated in a different eras, and it was better known as the Church of Saint Barsoom the Naked. The oldest buildings inside are the three sanctuaries, the Horus area in the front of them, which is covered by domes, and the grave of Saint Barsoom the Naked, which is found in the domed room beside the southern wall of the church. In 1970, an ancient well water was discovered northeast of the church of Saint Barsoom the Naked. It happened, the monastery survived destruction during the patriarchate of Pope John VIII. It happened that the churches of Cairo were closed down for a short time. Some of the evil people complained to Sultan Barkuk, 1382-1398, against the monks of their Shahran, accusing them of wounding their honor and asking for the demolition of the monastery and expelling the monks. The Sultan allowed this, and when Pope Matthew I in 1378-1408 knew about that, he hurried to the monastery to keep these evil people away from the monastery, but to no evil. The Pope then hurried to the Sultan to defend the monastery and its monks before the Sultan, who became convinced of their innocence and sent a military force to prevent the demolition of the monastery. As a result, these evil people fled away and the monastery survived destruction. The annual celebration of the feast of Saint Bartholomew the Naked. Tomb of Saint Bartholomew. Yes. The coming of Saint Bartholomew the Naked to live in this monastery, and the people visiting him to ask for his prayers, his death and burial in the monastery, the proximity of this monastery, which is located in the eastern bank of the Nile to Cairo, made too easy for the Copts visit to celebrate the feast of Saint Bartholomew the Naked, in the anniversary of the death on 5 Nes Coptic months every year equal 5 Nes equal 10 September. Also, the Christian youth celebrate the 5th Sunday of the Holy Lent every year in the monastery of Saint Bartholomew the Naked in the المنعقد in حلوان. The Pope, along with a number of bishops, priests, and deacons, used to go to that monastery to celebrate there. This celebration was mentioned by historian المقريزي. Composing the twin for the veneration of Saint Bartholomew the Naked, in the 15th century, priest Michael الميارجي composed a twin for venerating Saint Bartholomew the Naked. It's folio number 12 of manuscript number 32 Coptic in National Library of Paris. He composed it while he was still a priest before his ordination as a bishop. This twin is well known and titled Abikran. The scribe of the manuscript says, "Hail to your grave, which is full of grace. Hail to your holy, holy." The composer was ordained priest before 1426 and then ordained as a bishop for the diocese of Samanot north of Egypt under the name of Anba Michael الميارجي. A selection of patriarchs from their Shahran. Number 1, Pope John VIII. He was born in Minyat Khosim. His real name was Yohanna ibn al-Basil, but he was known as al-Mu'taman ibn al-Qaddis. He became a monk at the monastery of Shahran and was ordained pope under the name John VIII, 1320, and was buried in Deir Shahran in the region of Sultan Muhammad ibn Qalawun II. Number 2, Pope Peter V. This patriarch started as a monk in the monastery of Saint Marcorius, Saint Macarius. His real name was Peter ibn Dawood. He was chosen an abbot for Deir Shahran. He became an abbot. After that, he became a pope ordained by the name of Pope Peter V. Number 3, Pope Mark IV. He was the 84th Patriarch of Alexandria, 1348 until 1363. His real name was El-As'ad ibn Faragallah. He was from Kalyub. He became a monk in Deir Shahran and then was ordained priest under the name of Gabriel. He was buried in Deir Shahran. The abbots of monastery of Deir Amba Barsom العريان or Deir Shahran, Butros ibn Dawood, who later became Pope Peter. Number 2, he remained Ishaq ibn Karkura before 1317 AD. Number 3, priest Yohanna ibn al-Sheikh after 1317. Priest Mina, he was the abbot of the monastery at the time of Pope Michael III, the 19th of Patriarch of Alexandria. Ancient icons of Saint Bartholomew the Naked. There are 3 icons made by Yohanna al-Armani in 18th century. And there, the 4th icon, it's found in the church of Saint Abakir and Yohanna in Old Egypt, in Old Cairo. It is distinguished with simplicity. This is the icons for Yohanna al-Armani. And this is from Abakir and Yohanna. It's by maybe a popular painting, because this is very simple there in the church in Old Cairo. The conclusion, number 1, the monastery of Amba Barsoum the Naked was known as Deir Shahran in المعصرة in Halwan, and was originally called the monastery of Saint Marcorius. It was established in the Patriarch of Pope Simon II, 830. Bishop Gregorius of Elqis supervises the building of its church. Number 2, the region of Mamluks was one of the 2 highest for the Copts, during which they suffered severe persecutions. Number 3, perhaps Amba Barsoum the Naked was recognized as a saint during the 1st century after his death. That's why a twin for his revelation was composed in that period. Number 4, Deir Shahran and its monks acquired prestigious standing in the 14th century, as 3 patriarchs were chosen from this monastery in that century. Number 5, the buildings of the old church and the grave of Amba Barsoum the Naked developed over the ages. Number 6, we have to success about the origin of this monastery in the future. Thank you very much for your listening.
We thank His Grace Bishop Mارتيروس, his important contribution about Saint Bartholomew the Naked. Any question about that?